Good evening, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us. You're watching Seeing the Unseen with your host, Christopher LaPrath. And my name's Kenan, his son and the producer of this show. Tonight, the title is Tethered, which has to do with one of the titles of the assigned books I have for my yoga teacher training. It talks about being attached in different ways to these different stories we tell ourselves, which is all about what we talk about here on the show. So, before I get too far into that, for anyone who might be joining us out there for the very first time, be sure to say something in the chat so I know you're here, and then I can put you in line for a reading. Going forward, we're going to restructure a little bit how we do the readings, so we want to make sure there's an equal exchange of energy happening. So for anyone out there, of course the first time is always free, and then going forward after that it's $10 per reading, or you can do $100 and cover the entire month, which covers 3 shows per week, which is a pretty sweet deal. So then, in terms of being tethered, so many people identify with their ego mind, and that is a massive source of suffering for anyone who does that. Now, the way out is to search within, start to do an inventory of what's actually happening in our own mind versus, the external world, and then building ourselves the way we want to be. And really, it's an act of becoming, which we're all changing, whether we like it or not, one way or another. So deciding to change into something that we actually do want to become is the way to move forward in life and create all this happiness that we're all looking for. So that's all I've got to say for tonight. Here's Christopher. Thanks for watching.
Thanks so much, Kenan. That was a great message. One of the things I would add is just tethered to the ego mind. I love that. How do you know you're tethered to the ego mind? If you're easily triggered, if you're easily upset, if you're frustrated, angry, what is that? And use those feelings to go, oh, this is just a tether, and I can fix this. I can do something about it. In my book, I wrote this 30 years ago. I was tethered to, and I'm not going to brag here, but I had the biggest head with the most tethers of any of you. So I won that game. But I was always constantly triggered. And that's why they used to call me the Crisco kid, right? They go, I'd be there for a second and then I would be gone. And they go, well, where did Chris go? I was constantly triggered, and it was so much of a part of me, I didn't even know that I was being triggered. So that's why when you have loving people around you to go, hey, are you okay? That's a signal to go, well, maybe I'm being triggered. So that's the tethered mind, the tethered to the ego mind, and how to spot it. And that's why we really, it's so useful to have one another, to call, to text, to go, hey, I've got this thing and I'm not sure where I'm tangled up in it. I'm not sure where I'm tethered or how it's tethered. So that's the purpose of the readings. And when I started, I had no money. 30 years ago, Kenan was 2-3 years old. We had no money. And I started taking these seminars, and I would actually post date the checks for up to a year ahead for $50, $100. Because I knew I had to cut those tethers. I wanted to understand this energy. So, well, people ask, well, why are your personal readings $400? Well, what I do is very specialized. and or why are you charging me $10 for a card or $100 for the month? Because it offers you the chance to step up and take responsibility for yourself. And I used to charge $35 for my readings, and people, they weren't getting any benefit from them at all. They weren't putting into practice. I would see the same people every week, week after week after week, with no progress. I began to raise my prices, and people began to pay attention. So this is an investment in you. But I wanted to also talk a little bit about the group card tonight, because it's about being tethered, but in a different way, in a positive way. And it has to do with Gaia gateway activation. So a couple of weeks ago, we talked about the different chakras, right? And most people are familiar with the crown chakra, the third eye chakra, the throat chakra, heart chakra, those type of chakras, the power chakra. This is about a month ago, I started talking about this earth star chakra, and that's about 6 to 12 inches below your feet. And what that does is it helps you to connect to the sacred, to the magic, to the mystery. And if you happen to have your feet planted, if you're watching this show program, just focus your attention about 6 inches to 12 inches below your feet in the floor. And after a few minutes, just take some nice, slow, deep breaths, and you'll feel this earth star chakra. And it helps to connect you to that magic, to the mystery that is you, that is life, that is the earth, that is all things. Now, another step is this Gaia gateway activation. This is below the Earth Star chakra. Below the Earth Star chakra, picture of maybe opening up a portal or a black hole that goes right to the center of Gaia. It goes right to the heart, right to the center of Gaia. You can use your imagination, however you picture this, and this place connects you to the non-physical intelligence of the earth. It is the spiritual presence of the earth. It's really why we all came here. We may have been able to choose to go many different places, or not even to come here at all. But this is connecting to the earth. And the thing with the earth, been here billions of years, no matter what has happened to her, to Gaia, to the earth, or how she's been mistreated, or what tragedies have befallen her, she survives and thrives. It is this energy. So when you do this, be open to receiving a transmission from Gaia. When you visit someone, it's very common for them to send you home a plate of food or a small gift. And that's what Gaia does. So be open to receiving this transmission, to connect to this Gaia gateway and to be activated. And the point here is trust the plan. You go, what plan? Well, you don't have to know the plan. Just trust it. The earth cannot escape the challenges it's been through or is going to go through. We may not be able to escape the challenges, but we can definitely gain strength from them. and knowing and knowledge. And she will help you let go of that ego mind. Okay, who's on first?
Great, Marilyn.
Hey, Marilyn. All you on the East Coast, take care, be safe. I know you're getting some weather. So this is the playfulness card. Marilyn, and I recommend every one of you on the show, even putting a note on your bathroom mirror, refrigerator, anywhere, computer. Does this feel like play? Does this feel like play? How can I change it to feel like play? What would be fun for me now? And do that. It's not uncommon, Marilyn, to sometimes see white spots or to see flashes of light. So when I get downloads, I call them downloads because I don't know what else to call them, but they're messages, and they're not through the regular means. And so Spirit, there are many people, including myself, who've actually seen spirits materialize into what appears to be a physical form. But most of the times it isn't. It's more of a feeling. Sometimes it's a smell. Sometimes they use other senses. Maybe they're not as trained, or they actually don't know how to convey or to actually materialize in front of you. This is so for you, and everyone again is very different. And Ken and I were talking about this last night, of actually starting a intuition course, like a training course.
Light the incense.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Let's light the incense. Thank you, Kenan.
Yeah.
Okay. Lady Laurel, you're the best. I get so excited sometimes. So this incense is to help you connect to the Gaia, the activation center, to the center of the earth, to be uploaded messages from Gaia, from the spiritual center of the planet we live on. All right. Back to Marilyn. Thank you, Laurel. So this is for you. When you see light or flashes of light, just stop for a moment and go, what would you like? What do you need me to hear? And then trust what comes to you. We have been trained in our society to only trust the physical or what is in front of our eyes. This is not about that. This is about trusting these unusual flashes of light. Okay. And it does, Laurel. Thank you. It does raise the energy. I get excited, though. All right. And then we've got Doreen. Okay, Doreen. So, Doreen, if you've ever been to, you're really excited about going to Disneyland, and then you get there and it rains. And it can just ruin the whole experience. Or not. That is up to you. Your attitude toward only experiencing Disneyland in the sunshine robs you of experiencing it any other way. Let me tell you, life has not gone for me as I thought it should. And when I look at it, it's actually much better. Because it's how you face the rain. Now that it's raining on the East Coast, it's kind of appropriate, but the rain is really bad for a picnic. It's really good for the crops. So if you're on a picnic, rain might not be so good, but you can look somewhere down the road and go, this is really good for the crops. This is experiencing. And it's sometimes important for you to taste somebody's cooking that burned the food. Because I know, Doreen, you've never burned anything. And do you know what I'm saying is, because then you have something to compare to. We're here to experience it. And this is about blessing you and every one of you on the show, no matter what you're going through. When you think about that opening card, that group card about Gaia and what Gaia has gone through, and it's either a rough time or it's a learning time. You're going to get through it. Everything changes. That's going to change as well. All right, who's next? Okay, Jared. So we have these norms, we have these ideals in our society. And when I went to China as a missionary, a lot of those ideals were shattered. We would go to dinner and we would be invited out to dinner. And again, there would be these beautiful, beautiful, delicate Chinese women dressed to the nines. And they would be just eating this meal and enjoying it, and then burp like a lumberjack. And it was shocking. Like, it was absolutely shocking. But that is viewed in that society as a compliment, Jared. So we're taught to suppress, in our society, we're taught to suppress certain feelings or ways of being or living. This is you Are you willing to easily and comfortably release any conceived, perceived, projected suppressions that you've put on yourself or you've allowed society in the way we live to put on ourselves? Did I say that correctly? I think so. These are personal judgments. These are societal judgments. And they become ingrained. It's where racial prejudice, all kinds of prejudice comes from, and how we're raised, or what we're taught to believe, or how we should be, or how God wants us to be, or it's endless. So this is about you. What's happening here in the next few weeks and months It's the 10 card, which is the one card. It's a new beginning. It's a new way of looking at how you are and releasing any of that suppression in a comfortable and easy way for you to fully accept who you are and what you love. Okay, my dear cat. So this is called projections. Okay. So have you ever, Kat, you've played you played that game where you whisper in somebody's ear, the lights are really bright, and then it's called gossip, or
Telephone.
telephone. Thank you. Kenan is the best. That's why he's my producer. It's called telephone, and you pass that down. So what I'm getting here, Kat, you've been getting some distorted messages. You've been at the end of the line of telephone. And I'll give you an example. So God told Jesus, who told Peter, who told Andrew, who then told Cleopatra, who then told, and it gets distorted as it goes through. So if you've been in a fog all your life, you kind of don't know what clear skies look like. And what this is doing, what I see here for you, Kat, is kind of the fog clearing in you, but it doesn't do it all at once because it could be too blinding. But this is where you're really looking at these projections that have been handed down, again, through family, society, religion, school. Yeah. So those are all clearing big time for you. All right, who's next?
Laurel is next.
Laurel. Hey. Laurel, I'm about to show you this card. And think about what you texted me this morning. This is your expansion, when you look at this card, is the leaf any less than the stars? Is the person, the woman sitting there, naked and exposed, any less than the universe? It's the same thing. And again, I love this reading tonight because it so ties in with Jared and Kat and Doreen, and who I've read for so far, Marilyn. Where as you let go of these preconceptions as to what's happening, or belief systems, or how you think things should be, then existence opens up. You're expanding. You're awakening. So anywhere, Laurel, where you have created in any level, way, shape, or form of a glass ceiling, are you willing to shatter that now? And look at the universe, look at your expansion, look at your existence without looking through a glass ceiling or a roof or a limitation. All right. So this is going to something with all of us here, Laurel. So thank you for being here and bringing this up. So there's a belief system. I've got to talk it out here. There's a belief system that I have to live within my means. And you can jump in too if you can help me with this, Kenan. But there's something with this expanding the means. Or my definition of means. Like, I have to make this much money to live this way. What about you could expand both of those and dream bigger without the limitations that have been imposed on you? And this is why it's so amazing to me how these cards have a progression with the projections of Jared, the suppression, Cat's projections, all of these cards. This is about expanding into the existence. Okay. Hannah?
Yeah.
Okay, Hannah, my dear. Hold it together, Hannah. Be very mindful. When you want to say something, think about it before you say it. And if there's an emotion attached to it, go outside and hug a tree. Connect with the Earth Star Chakra. Connect with the Gaia Gateway. Get grounded first. This is you being Yogi Bear. This is you being better than the average bear. This is you not attacking or clawing or raiding a picnic area camp like a regular bear would do. This is using your words and your mind and getting it better under control. So I will tell you, do a ton of these every day. These are simple cross crawls. Do 1,000 of them today, every day. It will help put all the pieces together. And if you do need to scream, go to Target and get some new pillows. Okay? And trust the plan. I'm going to go back to this group card, Hannah. Trust the plan. What plan? Trust that you don't know the plan, which is okay as well. There's a reason for everything. All right. Who's next?
Marilyn and Abby.
Hey, Marilyn and Abby. So, Marilyn, I'm going to go back to I'm always and forever free of the need to do. I'm always and forever free of the need to do. It's okay for me to be. It's okay for me to be. And anywhere where your value or your worth has been tied up with doing or not doing, are you willing to easily and comfortably release that? And I'm going to say that to everybody. Laurel, are you still on? Yeah. That applies to everybody on the show. The other thing I'm getting, Marilyn, here is there are more potential moves in chess than there are grains of sand on the earth. Let's say it again. There are more potential moves in chess than there are grains of sand on the earth. So there's no way that you can memorize all the plans. There's no way you can know all the moves that any game is going to go. So there's a big amount of just letting go and enjoying the game. And releasing all judgment on yourself about the fear of saying the wrong thing, the fear of doing the wrong thing. Yeah. Very good. All right, my dear Abby. Okay, so Abby, let me put it this way. If you go to rescue a rescue dog, if you stop alongside the road and you see this poor animal, scraggly, not been fed, and you pick it up and you're not going to bring it right home. In fact, you're going to be really careful in even how you bring it home. And before you come into the house, you're going to probably get some flea spray, or have all the fleas killed or ticks killed before you bring that dog into the house. Or you'll take it to the vet and they can help you. They can do it. But then you'll probably change your clothes even before you go into the house. Okay, my point of telling you this is you're a light. And if any of us, this is not a whole absolute rule of thumb that I'm talking about here, but if you go out, especially if you're in a crowd or if you go to a hospital or you go to a funeral home or cemetery or anything like that, before you come back home, check for fleas. In many ways, all of us on the show are these lights. Okay, and I know Marilyn Pitts isn't going to mind me talking about her, but she is a light. If any of you've experienced her on the show, she was a hospice nurse for 30 years. She had hundreds of people around her, spirits, because she was a light. Well, those people needed to go on. And so people that have this unusual light about them, Abby, or Marilyn, or pretty much anybody on the show, pay attention to when you're feeling a little bit off, because that could be an indication that one of these spirits has seen you as a light and come into your field. So I'm asking you to be aware of it and clean your field. How you do that, you just simply be mindful of it. And anything and everything that is not of me or to my best and highest, leave now. Put salt at your front door, at your back door, any entrance of the house that you come into. Change your salt out there. Put a line of salt that you have to cross in order to get into your house. And when you put that salt out, and in no uncertain terms, tell people, or tell when you're laying it out, nothing and no one enters here unless it's for my best and highest. So I'll do some trade shows, and I know you do trade shows. Watch for that. And when you're mindful of it, you can sense it. It's like hearing a mosquito. You know there's a mosquito around you, and so you get the mosquito spray, or you get the oregano, or whatever it is that repels mosquitoes, right? It's that energy to go, nope, move on, make progress. Okay.
Brenda Burr's next.
Brenda Burr. Thank you, Brenda, for being here. S-T-R-E-S-S. That's the way you spell stress. Anywhere, Miss B. Okay, so there are these ankle weights that you can put on and go for a walk with, but you have to be really careful because they can actually damage your tendons or damage your feet. Kenan knows more about that, but people think it's helping them. So anywhere where you have put ankle weights on to alleviate the stress or help other people through their stress, are you willing to let go of that now and to stop doing that? Because it's definitely not helping them, and it's definitely not helping you. And anywhere where anyone has become addicted to you and your advice or your energy, cut them off. I don't mean unkindly, but it's like weaning them off and just not being at their beck and call or texting, and start taking better care of Brenda. Hey, what's good for Brenda? What's good for Chris? Do I really want to answer this text right now? Can I answer this text? Is it my best and highest interest to return this phone call? Sometimes, Brenda, it's good to be Scarlett O'Hara. And I'll go, I'll think about this tomorrow. Okay.
Very good. Mindy is
Mindy, Mindy, Bo, Bindi, Fee, Fi, Fo, Findi, Mindy. Okay, here we go, Mindy. So, Mindy, get into the. I would highly recommend trying or doing, telling yourself what to dream about at night. Telling yourself in the morning, before you get out of bed, how you want to feel the whole day. Because this is the trust. And anywhere where you've said, I'm not good at trusting, or I don't trust so-and-so, I don't trust people, I don't trust the color purple, I whatever it is. Are you willing to switch that? And I'm really good at trusting. I'm really good at trusting. Okay. Who's next?
Very good. It's Naomi.
Naomi, it's so great to have you. Thank you. Every time I see this card, I think of Michael Jackson singing, "We are the world, we are the children." Anywhere where you've judged yourself by what you've sold or haven't sold or did or didn't do, or the money you've made from something, and I mentioned this before, I think I mentioned this before, how many paintings did Van Gogh sell? I don't think any, and maybe it was one to one of his friends. But afterwards it became, Van Gogh, however you want to pronounce it. Anywhere where you've said, oh gosh, people really don't want to see this, or you know what, people are getting tired of this, can you flush that turd? That is, no. People, it's important for them to see color. It's important for them to see beauty. And you exude that. Absolutely. You absolutely exude that. And it's not the quantity, it's the quality. Helping one person is every bit as important or even more important than helping a million people. So anywhere where you've judged yourself on quantity, are you really willing to release that now? Okay.
Teresa and Mason.
Hey, Teresa and Mason. All right. All right, my dear Teresa. So this is kind of for you and Mason. So Mason, I don't know if you work with Legos, or when I was a kid, we used to call them Tinker Toys. They were kind of dangerous for a kid, but anyway. This is you working with objects and shapes and geometric patterns. Like hands-on. Like, I don't know what toys are available out there, but all I can think of is Legos. Okay? And then Teresa, this is your spatial awareness. So I don't know if this is maybe a session with Duncan, or but it's something to do with your spatial awareness opening up. Like where a more solid position of where you're at in relation to other things and people and value, highly valuing. Okay, who's next?
Awesome. Last is Karen Hill.
Hey, Karen. Nice to have you. Anywhere, Karen, that you need to, have to, should do something, are you willing to let go of that? Where you're into, I should do this, I have to do this, rather than I really want to do this. This is kind of pulling your energy back a little bit. That it's okay to be a miser with your time, energy, and money. This is charging people more for what it is that you're doing. And be free of making it about you. Just say, hey, this is the new policy, right? So it's like moving into this next month with September. There is a new policy, like for Seeing the Unseen, Christopher LaPrath, the show, like Kenan was talking about. There's a new policy here where I love reading for all of you, but this is for you. This is for you charging more for what it is that you're doing. And that way you're able to take care better of yourself and to know your real value. You're unbelievably talented. Teresa, Mason, Melinda, everybody on the show, Naomi, you guys are amazing. You're off the scales when it comes to talent. Step up and value yourself more, and other people will value yourself more. And we're done. Got everybody? Sunday night, you guys, I love you all. Have a great, great evening. If you have any questions, if you have any observations, text me, call me, instant message me. I love you very much. Have a great night.